So collaboration, everything is a collaboration anyway, right? But I think that particularly with artists, sometimes collaboration can be limited in the way that we think about it to the output of the product, right? The music that we're making. So it could be like collaborate with another artist of which is coming from a different genre, or a producer that has a particular sound, or is from a recording studio that has that sound and that history, and that's going to be the collaboration that produces a product that's different. But it's really interesting to expand the idea of what collaboration is all about and explore your own identity, and to build more followers and more fans, and to change your followers and fans, and to get a kind of, like a synergy where two things come together, and you get like, 1 + 1 = 3. So what I mean by that is another artist isn't just what they're going to produce, the music that you're going to produce with them, but also what's going to happen when you get your fans together, right? And that's really a really, really interesting kind of thing. And you'd see that at all kind of levels of different types of artists. I remember there was at Ville Vest, we talked about this a couple of years ago with what's the redhead guy's name? Ed Sheeran, right? So Stormzy, who the first Black British artist to headline Glastonbury, it's a seminal moment. He collaborates with the Royal Ballet, so that's crazy. Grime from the streets with ballet, so you've got seriously like highbrow culture going down with grime, and then doing a collaboration in his headline set with Ed Sheeran. And the purpose of that was, there's no real relation necessarily with their musical genres, but what they're doing is they're at a time bringing people together. They're kind of connecting tribes, and that speaks to people more than the actual than the product itself. It's more than a song. It's like a moment in time. It's an event. It's something that people needed, like making connections. So collaboration is a way of exploring your own identity, exploring identity of others, being really relevant, finding new audiences, finding new platforms. And these are already ready-made, right? So if you collaborate with somebody else, what's really great about that is they've already kind of got this stuff ready-made, right? They've got the fan base, they've got their venues, or they've got their channels, their labels, whatever that may be, that how they work. So if you think of it wider than just the song or just the product, like that whole kind of like creative ingredients is really powerful. Yeah, the world is a big buffet. That's true, and it's really interesting to think about the fact that there are no rules to the barriers have been broken down to things. So, I'll give you an example of this, like musical genres that you might know. Previous generations would really know the musical genre of their parents, right? But that would be on vinyl in their parents' home. And then when you moved out of your parents' home, you might nick a few, you might steal a few, like vinyls that really spoke to you, that you really liked. But that genre was like left in the family home, and then you went off and you had your own collection, right? And so we had these like physical things, and now that's not true. So, with digitization of music, like and all sorts of content, right? It's not just that; it's YouTube content, watching concerts and comedy shows, and it's completely blown open. So your reference point and ease of access has created this buffet of culture. So that means that there isn't these like hard divisions in the same way that there was. And also because of that, I think to go like the really highbrow culture of classical avant-garde type, philharmonic orchestras and these sorts of things, for them, they're now finding new audiences, right? So it's kind of started to make anything that's really highbrow very lowbrow. And we see that in fashion, for example, like the digital fashion and avatars and skins the ones that are developing that are like the old school French fashion houses, right? They're the ones that are really investing in like new tech because it's a way of staying really relevant. So they're only going to do that by collaborating with young, up and coming, really niche, local, strong fan base artists and creatives. Well, to be outside the box, the first thing to do is don't worry about outside the box. First of all, worry about the box that you're in, right? So that's what is your everyday? Like, what is your references? And we've all got these, there's lots of these nice terms now, like bubbles, you know, filter bubbles. If you Google something and I Google something, we get different results, right? So sometimes you've got to burst your bubble. Listen to things that you wouldn't otherwise listen to. Talk to people you otherwise wouldn't talk to. Go to places that you wouldn't ordinarily go to, right? And just that is a really great way of changing up your routine, meeting people that you wouldn't otherwise meet, and trying new things with new people. That's the simple way of going outside the box, you know? I mean, really being honest with yourself, first of all, means that you've got to kind of explore things yourself a little bit, you know? If you force it, it won't happen. Just mix it up. And the magic, I mean, one of the really important things to be with any artist, but with anyone, but particularly with creatives and artists, is that if you are, let's say you're a hip hop MC, right? There's millions of you, but let's say you're a hip hop MC that can play the violin. How many of them are there? Right, just to be kind of really obvious. So don't define yourself by like the one thing that you're really good at, or that one area that's like that everyone will instantly get, because there's millions of people like that. But like, what is it when you mix it up with something else that you do? And that combination means you're going to be highly unique, and you've got something unique to say. That's kind of special. So going outside the box is sometimes just looking at what's already in the box, you know, and mashing it up a little bit. But break your routine. Yeah, there's definitely a risk of going outside the box. That's the point, right? I have these conversations quite a lot with all sorts of different people, really big corporate companies and you know, individual creatives that have the dilemma of, I really want to explore over there. You know, we want to develop a new product. We want to put out this new album, say, that's completely different than what we've done before. We want to go a little bit outside of our comfort zone, but we're going to upset our fans, and our fans is what generates revenue and is, you know, keeping me alive, if you like, in what I'm doing and what I love. So I don't want to upset them. Well, that's the risk you got to weigh up. Ultimately, today is the best day to do it, right? It's only going to get harder if you already want to do it, right? Yesterday was the better day to do it. So today is the best day to do it, and you just kind of got to do it. And it's a really interesting way of evolving where you're at. And there's this kind of theory, if you like, which is nice. If you look at artists, like, I could be lazy here and talk about David Bowie, right? So if you just Google David Bowie and look at all the different like personalities that he had, like from a androgynous alien to like a normal kind of really straight guy, to the dude, to a French clown, like he had all these moments. And every time he changed his personality as an artist into something else, it was when he was on top, not when he was down. So it's like exit velocity. So the best time to do it as an artist is always when you're on top, because that's kind of like your catapult into that next album, that next version of yourself, or that next bit of content even. It doesn't have to be really big, But you push and you change something, and then before that becomes mainstream and everyone else is doing it, like you're off onto the other thing. And sometimes it doesn't work. Well, that's like, that's how it is. That's creativity, right?